back to Checkpoint Running. I'm Dylan. This is the full route for our 10-part series that we're doing through Cunningham Falls State Park in central Maryland. In our previous video, we ran this section from Bob's Hill down Cat Rock to Maryland 77. And in this video, we're going to be doing this orange section. We're going to go from Maryland 77 up to Chimney Rock. So not quite as long as a video, but a nice steep climb, kind of like Bob's Hill, but we have more switchbacks and things, so it's pretty nice. And then in our next video, if you're interested, we're going to run from Chimney Rock to Wolf Rock, which is shown here. That'll be a really short video, but then there's a bit of rock climbing at the end if you're interested in that. So we're just getting started here, getting ready to get going up this hill. Just come down off of Cat Rock, so it's just taking a minute to gather myself, make sure I got a little bit of food, some hydration, and just kind of making sure that I'm still okay, because at this point I'd been running for quite a while, and I knew I had this climb ahead of me. So just getting started here. We'll warn you, there's a snake right here that kind of caught my attention. You can see it there, crawling in the leaves. And so yeah, it's early spring on this run. Just starting to warm up. Actually, on this day, it was quite warm. It's about 80 degrees, which is really warm for spring in central Maryland. So yeah, some of the reptiles started to pop out, and sun on the rocks. Just happened to see that snake there. Here it is flat-ish. We're actually running downhill, and so just making sure I get a little leg stretching. We did just come off Cat Rock, as I said, so downhill I wasn't too concerned with. So if this is the first video you're watching in the series, this is part of a 10-part series where I run a loop through Cunningham Falls State Park. And we started at the bottom of Bob's Hill, ran to the top of Bob's Hill. That was part 1. And run, it was really a hike. I was warming up on that part. And Bob's Hill is pretty steep. We had some inclines there, I think in the, getting up near 40% on some of the parts. So I didn't want to injure myself or anything. So we did a nice power hike up that. And then we ran from Bob's Hill down past Cat Rock to Maryland 77. So it was like a couple miles flat and then a couple miles downhill. And so now we're down at Maryland 77, so it's in the valley, and we're going to climb back up. We're going up to Chimney Rock. I'd never been here. This is all brand new to me, so I'm experiencing this trail for the first time, just as maybe you are. And so I was unfamiliar with everything and just wanted to take it slow, enjoy the experience, enjoy the adventure. And so when we get to the top, Chimney Rock, it's gorgeous. I gave you a little preview there at the beginning of this video, but it's well worth it. Climb to the top and get that nice view, especially on a gorgeous day like this was. The climb here, basically a lot of what you're seeing, just pretty steady climb. You can see on the elevation profile on the bottom left that there's a little bit of change, but not a lot. And it is just kind of these technical, kind of rocky running, just like pretty typical for East Coast running on trails in my experience. You'll notice there in the map on the just above the elevation profile there on the left, we do have a nice switchback here, which is quite nice to have, because you can see, with the slope or the incline, we're already at 15%. I think it was 18% a few minutes ago, and it really doesn't let up. So having a nice switchback was good. Run past these people here. Just other people out enjoying the nice, beautiful trail. I think every time I run past people going up these hills, they always, I don't know, I get different reactions. Some people are annoyed that they have to get out of the way. Some people are amazed that anyone can run this. Some people, don't pay any attention. It's always mixed reactions. I like encountering people on the trail though, because it gives me, I like to maybe get a little bit of like a race, it's just a race between me and no one, because they don't know. But I like to think, okay, let me try to catch them. Let me try to keep running until I catch them, things like that.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Those people that we just ran past actually were quite nice. I encountered them a couple more times on the trail because I stopped and got the scenery footage and other stuff, and the man was pretty familiar with the area, so he was telling me all the cool things I need to go see and all the places that are interesting. So they were really nice. And here I actually, pretty soon we're going to get into a power hike, because this gets steep enough and these rocks here start to get pretty gnarly. Like, there's just not a good place to put your foot, and it's really hard to run when it's like that, at least at my current level. I think it requires a lot of strength to be able to run on stuff like this, because you can't just rely on cadence and having nice, smooth, even steps. You're really pushing yourself from kind of rock to rock, and a nice footstep to another nice footstep, and that can get really challenging. So here we are power hiking, just 3 miles per hour, which is still pretty good for this type of incline. And you'll see I'm using the poles, kind of putting both out in front of me and then pulling with both arms at the same time. And I'm breathing pretty heavily here because it's hard. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's really difficult to run these hills like this, even if they're not terribly long. Also, apologies for the little bit of lens flare there. I am running up into the sun, and the lens on the camera, it's just a little bit dirty, so it's not super clear. So it had leveled out there. I went ahead and did a little bit of a run. Still wasn't any faster. Still 3 miles per hour, but it was just nice to change up the pace. I like to do that. And then here, as it gets really technical again and steeper, just going back to a nice power hike, using both poles, pulling myself forward. And these rocks, I'm still getting used to running on them and gaining the strength to run on them. But you can see how many there are, and they're just all different shapes and sizes and orientations, and it is really challenging. Here we've slowed down because it's just, we're down to 2 miles per hour because it's just gotten very steep. 25%. Felt a lot more at the time. Here I've swapped to more of a left-right pull movement, trying to swing with the legs instead of pulling myself up. I don't know that I have a strong preference for one or the other. I just kind of alternate depending on how I feel and what the terrain is. And again, I'd never run this trail. I had no idea how close I was to the top or, anything. So I am being probably a little bit conservative here, and just power hiking, just keep moving forward. But you can hear my breath in the background there when I ran this and recorded, and it was tough. It's breathing hard. But we are near the top. I think that sign up ahead there was saying, to turn left to go towards Chimney Rock. And I just paused to look because there was actually a separate path. So there's this kind of really steep one here that's a little bit rocky and jagged, which I opted for, but there was another path off to the left that you kind of circled you around a little bit more. Might have been easier. But being new to the area, I just followed the trailblazes and the sign. So I looked up, saw that red blaze that we just passed on the left, and I said, okay, that's the trail, go that way. It was nice of somebody to put a bench up here too. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it after that long climb to be able to just sit down. So that's the majority of the really difficult climb. So we level out a bit. Still up, but it's not as steep. If you're following along on like a treadmill or a bike or something, maybe your treadmill doesn't go up to, some of these higher inclines. Just set it to whatever, is maybe max or what you're comfortable with. And then maybe you can work up to higher inclines. Same thing on the declines. I know, obviously if you're running on a treadmill or have an indoor bike, that it only goes down so far. So don't stress about it. Just put it to whatever, again, you're comfortable with, or the maximum that it'll go one way or the other. And, just enjoy the workout, enjoy the trail. That's what I'm doing. Not racing, just trying to have a nice run. Enjoy the new area. Enjoy the beautiful day, and it's not raining, not snowing. If you're new to the channel, you could go back to some of my earliest videos, and those were recorded in like January and February, and it was rainy and snowy. It's fun to run in the snow. sometimes, or you get to feel like a kid playing in the snow, but it was cold and miserable. So this was a nice change. Now you'll notice on the map there, as we come up here, there's a couple little side turnouts here to the right, and that's because I was new to the area and I was actually not sure exactly where Chimney Rock was or what Chimney Rock looked like. So I was thinking, oh, maybe these little rock outcrops here are Chimney Rock, and there was a bit of a trail. So I walk over here and just kind of peek my head up over the ridge and the rocks, see if it looks pretty or if I could see anything. And you really can't see anything through the woods here. But it's part of my adventures. You got to explore a little bit. That's how you find new cool stuff. So yeah, nothing here. So I was like, oh man, this Chimney Rock, it's disappointing. Not knowing I'm not actually at Chimney Rock. And so we go back to the trail, I run a little bit more, find another kind of area where people have turned and gone off trail a bit. So, there's a little bit of a dirt path, and think, oh, okay, maybe, that wasn't Chimney Rock. Maybe these rocks up here are Chimney Rock, or maybe I can get a slightly better view from these rocks here. But also not true. Nope, still not a good view. But I'm just bringing you along on my adventure, so you get to experience what I experience, see what I see anyway. If you are enjoying this sort of stuff, let me know. If you're not, let me know. I want to improve, make these videos fun, interesting. Let people who, from all over the world see some areas that I run and what these parts of the world look like, which might be completely different from where they are. It's not meant to be a nature documentary or anything, just for fun. I'm already out here running it, may as well capture some footage and just have some fun with it. Alright, so now that we've not actually found Chimney Rock, and neither of those rock outcrops had any good views, we're going to get back on the trail and keep going. And this is when I think it occurred to me, because you can see off to the left here that there's a bit more to climb up, that maybe I need to go around that and climb to the top. So we've got about 5 or 6 more minutes in the run here. If this is the only run you're doing with me today, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. But you probably want to start cooling down about this time. Just, if you ran up that hill, I'm sure you got pretty warm and it was challenging. That's a very steep technical hill. I think that would be challenging for even elite people, even though it was not a super long hill. And so you definitely want to make sure you take some time to cool down. This guy was moving. He was going so fast, just walking along there. I felt slow compared to him just walking through here. And I think at this time I was getting some food and enjoying the scenery, seeing what's around. Here's another one where I thought, oh, this is like another rock outcrop. No, just rocks. Can't see anything. And we're just going to run a little bit more here. Finally, not so many rocks. Actual dirt path, so you can run easily. And it's, down a little bit of a decline. Certainly not as steep as before. So, yep, just running along here. 4% is very runnable. And this path is much better. It was like a gravel path. I think the Park Service might have come in here and graded it and put it in a little bit smoother.
Good morning.
But we do have one last climb up to Chimney Rock. It'll make you do a little bit of extra effort here to get to the view. So we're back down to just power hiking. I didn't want to wear myself out. Just quite a ways for me. If you think back to the map at the beginning where we do the full loop, this is not quite halfway. So didn't want to wear myself out. And it was warm this day. Like I said, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The sign, so now we're finally at Chimney Rock, and we'll be heading over to Wolf Rock in our next section. I really like Wolf Rock. I hope you'll join me for that section because it's really fun. It's just a nice, interesting bit of a rock scramble and a rock climb, and there are actually rock climbers out there when I was there. So. It's just something very different for me when I'm from just these normal trail running things. And so here we are, we're at Chimney Rock. And this view was just breathtaking.
Holy cow.
I climbed out as far on these rocks as I felt safe to do, and
Beautiful here.
just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So thank you for coming on this run with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying this view, and it was worth the effort and the climb. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.